Most of our followers still think that it's a prank when I say Lily and I are going together, are going our separate ways. But this video, I just want to make you guys know that this is not a prank. This is the reality on the ground. And James will be James, Lily will be Lily. And we are really going through some really tough times. And yeah, so today it's Father's Day. And when I woke up, I've been thinking a lot. And so I wrote this letter to my kids and any aspiring YouTubers out there. And I think reading it out, because I was just sitting in bed when I woke up and I'm like, man, every time, I think about, I'm like, why are we not working? How can we bridge? How can we get our life back on track and be one? Because we still have that spark, we have that connection, but we've just gone different ways. And some of the reason we went different ways, I wrote them here and I felt like maybe I should get this out there because from here on out, it's gonna be really tough. But yeah, bear with me. I'm gonna read it. It's not perfect, but I think this kind of reflects my ideas of why this breakup is real. If you guys want to know, I've written them, and let me quickly read it to save you some time. So when I woke up this morning, this is exactly what I wrote. I said, today is Father's Day, and I'm going to spend time with it writing this video to my daughters and any other aspiring YouTubers. Capital letters, do not YouTube with your family involved in the light of privacy before talking and always agreeing on what content to put out for the world to see with your partner. And once appreciation leaves, it's just a ticking bomb. It's true, social media is a bitch, a fallacy that is tuned to only show you what the author wants you to see. If there is balance, it's a great tool that can bring wealth and help other folks achieve greater heights in life. Balance is the key. It's worse than cocaine and marijuana combined on a puff. After 12 years, 9 and 6 with my kids, they are now going to be part of a broken home and a broken and dysfunctional home. It's not their fault, but me as a parent do not have to bear or keep masking it for the sake of my girls. I think they will be better off with me without I think they'll be better off without us being together. We all deserve a life where it's okay to be happy, to be who you are, do what you want. No two people in life can always be in sync. Man, my punctuations and everything are really off the place, but I hope it still does make sense. But yeah, uh, where was I? So, no two people in life can always be in sync in this life, going the same direction. That is, wait, what did I mean here? So, no two people in life can always be in sync. So, what I'm trying to say here, like, no, even though we can be in sync, we can, oh, no two people in life can always be in sync. I think what I'm trying to say here is, okay, two people in life can always be in sync, but even though you're in sync, you're constantly going different direction. And maybe that's due to communication. I don't know. That's why we're having this. That's why divorce is there. So I think that's what I meant there. And that's not what love is all about. This is no prank. For me, it's actually a therapy. And yeah, it feels good because I have this medium because what we are going through is so tough. And now this is a medium that, I can speak to my girls, I can speak to Lily, and I can speak to everybody. And, and I can make my choices. And as I move on, I can look back and really realize what did happen. So this is not a prank. For me, it's actually a therapy as I take the next exit for my life. As soon as I take this exit, it's going to be a dark underworld, deep down the lowest bottom of the sea. Pressure that will blow minds and brains. Temperatures that are cold. Environment that all living creatures are adapted to. Nothing but only a measure, a means of survival. The dominants are the ones bound to survive, which is a fallacy since the weak never go extinct either. Somehow, somehow I have problems because there's no line. So yeah, I gotta keep following the line. So that's why I'll be stopping back and forth. So somehow all survive. Since during the somehow somehow all always survive during this time. All we can do is survive. Stay woke first for your own sake, and then fearlessly defend the others who are not yet capable of defending themselves. We are free falling deep, and yet we are free falling deep and yet to say hello to the depths of these deep seas. That stuff, yeah, we are really, our relationship is really like, we are like a submarine sinking, that pressure is just going and you keep hearing that tune, tung, tung, and it just keep dropping into the depths of this water. That's what we are doing right now. So if you watch and follow me, what you see is what you get. We all have opinions, and on highlight scenes, we all have opinions. Okay, so I'm going to still keep my channel, talk about I'm going to still keep my channel. So then, yeah, I think here that I was making about, oh, I'm talking about social media ruining us or changing how, our family goals and opinions have always been, or it hasn't really changed them, but I think it's really affected how we've executed how we want to live our life. And I think half the time that execution and communication has not been right because social media is involved. And yeah, so Lily and I have not worked despite the thick alligator skin we have to put on. Sharp knives are still able to cut through, thick skins, but we've always kept stabbing at each other. And I think we've really gotten that thick layer out. And now, yeah, it's really deep in our flesh. And we're just bleeding. We are bleeding, folks. We are bleeding really bad. We'll run out of blood real soon. And you know what happens? No blood, no oxygen, and maybe no life. So we might need a blood transfusion. We are yet to see. This is really sad. I'm just who I am, and yeah, like I say, even though you might be dead inside, for me, life just has to go on, and yeah, I think we'll be okay. So we all individuals have our reasons. This is mine. So I'm saying in this split of ours, we all have our reasons why we are going separate ways and why I'm choosing to really, like use this medium as I also, make decisions in life. And so these are only based on me. I don't know. She might make videos about it or talk about it. I don't know. But this is from my view. I have always been at a place where I live my life through the cameras. Despite my disapproval, it is still conveyed and edited out as the best script ever, only to be constantly judged by it again and again, even videos that have been there for 10 years. So, yeah, so our life is all on camera, but sometimes, when we have our differences, then you can look from a video like that happened 10 years ago or 2 years ago, and when you look that, and then when we're having those differences now, then we certain stuff are picked, like, oh look, you even did it here. It's like an album, but it's an album, a live album that never goes away. It keeps reminding you, and if you need justification why you're in this shit that you're in right now, you can always look back and look, oh, when you looked at me 2016, you didn't really look at me with that great smile of love. And now I'm seeing that smile again, that smacking smile out of you. So that's what our lives has always been about. Our arguments, doesn't just be confined in what's going on at the moment, but it spills out, to other stuff back. And this stuff is supposed to be good, bring us money, also, inspire other people. But without a balance, so that's what that means. Then number two, as written here, I per, I personally wish that my life would have just been like it is depicted in these videos. My struggle has been on the video shootout. It's all roses. Off camera is struggling to understand why my shoot is why my shoot is benign. in my very own home and cannot understand why my wait, what is going on here? So I personally wish that my life would have been just like it is depicted in these videos. Uh-huh. Then my struggle has been on the video shootout. It's all roses. Off camera is struggling to understand why my shoot is not as full of roses as it's depicted in the videos. It sucks. On the videos, I have a glimpse of paradise, and off that, we don't. So I think from here, I'm coming from a perspective that, when we have to, like, we've been struggling with, like sanitation virtues, like orderliness, cleanliness, stuff like that. And like, let's just say chores, how we do our chores, what chores we have to do. I don't know how other folks do it. We struggle with that. And so it's when it comes to video shooting time, it's all about we gotta make, like we gotta make your home. We don't have to be always spotless clean all the time, but we cannot be. I feel like we've always, at any given time, it's always full of filth, not filth. I don't want to be taken out of context, but at any given time, it's you know it's always been, it's not what it's shown in the videos. When we have to make the videos, then of course you want to make it decent, you want to make it look nice, but if that's the constant that happens, and then after the videos you're like, wow, this room looks really good, and why can't we just try maintain this? I mean, it doesn't have to be that good every day, but at least maybe half of the time, and if it can look this, our life could be wonderful. And so that struggle, it's just constant hammer. You're like, what is going on? I want this place to look like this. I don't want, like, every time we invite somebody over, you want to rush and be like, oh, is this in order? And and yeah, and it's different. I'm dealing with manly things, so I don't care, maybe makeup and all that stuff. Lily's dealing with the things, and all other relationship, everybody's dealing with their things. But I think there's just that saddle line that, that standard that you can kind of keep, and there's slacking days too. So I think that's what that point means. And the third one I wrote here, that we are both not from here. We have made tons of friends through this platform. It's just insane to me that amongst all the friends we have ever connected with, marvelous people, these friends that we've met on YouTube, when it comes to a point which they do not often agree with certain opinions, and by this I mean with our videos or the title of our videos, because we've grown Lily's channel about black and Asian, all these racial elements. So so sometimes folks are like, that's a little too touchy. I wish you could tone it down. I wish you could take a different path. I know this is what brought us together, but anyway. So that is just an example, and then there's just a bunch of other dominous things that goes in. But these folks that we've always met, I mean, sometimes they'll communicate, because once we meet you guys, we become good friends. I mean, some we meet, you click, you don't click. If you click, you maintain that relationship. And actually, my best friends in America are actually through this platform, and I still talk to them up to date. And the funniest part is, those best friends of mine are the worst enemies of my wife's, and I just don't know how you go from that. And it's not about something, it's just because they have different of opinion, which I did too. I'm like, oh babe, man, I don't like my girl being on there. I mean, just the fact that I say that, so there comes to be justifications that wants to up. And of course, we are all our own people. We see things in a different ways, but it's been a really point of conflict, and they know themselves. They're watching this. We've lost you. They know, and yeah. But for me, and it's just for me. Once I get to that point, I'm like, oh, this guy is bad for me. Then I'm gonna lose you. But I haven't seen that, and it's just a tough spot to meet. Actually, I meet them through my wife, and then we hit it off, and it's just because of who I am and who my wife is, but we can't keep that going. But then I have to keep that going, and they've become so vital to our lives. So that's what that point means. And then, yeah, the last page, I promise, stick with me. So social media, irrespective of, okay, so I finished that. Yeah, they all know when to watch. Okay, they know. Okay, then I say this because I live it. Most of our friends have come from here, and almost all are ghosted. It's tough life. It's tough life when you have a partner and still keep friends who, she really doesn't live. And and then looking back to, it's always been like that. So my trend has always been like all the friendship we've made through this platform. Any friend that has always been of difference of opinion, they get ghosted. And it's not an insult. I have different of opinions every time, but I guess it's also about the solid foundation of your friendship. So it's different. So the fourth one is that I wrote here is we just different. One loves the limelight and fame, and it's become a norm to my little ones too. So my girls, and this just scares the shit out of me. I'm glad comment section are off, but now they are almost involuntarily normed into it. So I mean, my girls have been in this, exposing it, and I feel like we've not done. We can't. I don't know. It's just balance. I don't have all the answers, but all I know that I feel is we've put our little ones onto these screens, onto the world, and we cannot protect them. That's all I'm saying. And and the fact that we cannot protect them and we're just different, and even the fact that comment section are blocked, it's and kudos to YouTube for doing that, because it used to be even worse. And then the fifth one, we've always have difference in goals, and difference in goals has always just come when our kids became of age. So since our kids extracurricular, it's always been fine, and but then once we started gymnastics, ballet, cheerleading, all this stuff, that's where our difference in goals have come. That's what this point means. But once, so because of that, so I'm saying I'm a big fan to let kids be kids. Extracurriculum activity is good, but once it start hitting certain hours, and then it gotta go. I want my children to ride bikes, play at the playground, go to bed at 8 or 9, but of course with some exceptions. But I have kids who literally sleep 6 hours, sometimes just because their calendar is so packed, and their internal human clock also has its ways. So if they could earn a living with social media and hobby and what is that? I can't even read my own handwriting. And hobbies, they would be millionaires. So what I'm saying here is we've slammed all these activities, and for me, as a family, and now that we don't even spend time to, we can't have dinner together. We can't do anything together as a family. And communication, and this is all about communication, and it's all about me and just how we go about this stuff. But and I think for me, part of that is because of all these activities that's packed, and my kids don't get home till like maybe sometimes 10, 11 o'clock, and it's just not the way I grew up. And this activity is slammed to them. I'm more like, okay, we can keep those activity till about 7. After 7, let's all be home. Let's grab a meal together. Let's share that evening, because we all have different days. We all go through different stuff, and let's have that connection, and let's go to bed early. But for me, I shut down when you come back home like 9, 10. Especially kids. I don't know. I might just be crazy, but kids should be kids and they should go to bed early. But if my kids start going to bed at, 10 is normal. 11, you're kind of like, oh man, are they going to go to bed? 11, 10, 11, that's when they go to bed. Then I'm just like, I can't. And and some of this, I feel like it's been also, all of this are geared into the excellence, to have this album. Of course, they've been exposed to this stuff and now they love him as a hobby. But more so, it's we are the cause, and we can't find balance to that, and we've forgotten ourselves. I'm taking too long here, man, so I should cut this. And then say the sixth one I have here, I'm almost done. Then language priority, school life, language. So this is just, we're still going in the difference in goals that we have. Language is priority. Sending our kids to, all these fancy schools that we want them to aspire. Yet we yet they can't even speak my language. They can't even speak my wife's language. I think it's just this constant bombardment. And for me, I'm like, why? I mean, all couples have these kind of differences, but I feel for me too, mine is all more driven with, creation of content. I don't know if I'm just crazy and blaming all this in contents of, YouTube or a job for what we have as a family, but I think it's our problem. It's our balance we had to find, but I think we've missed the opportunity. So yeah, so that's why I say language priority school. Our life is fact. We could, we we can be a crowd, but we all walk alone. I have always felt that all this has been driven with the social media drive. But my girls have found that hobby, passion that they like. We as a parents just don't have the balance we've had, you know. And then I say we never even had a family meal in a very long time. Then yeah, the list just continues, man. And so yeah, I was gonna read the entire list, but I forgot. I didn't put the most. The deal breaker for me out of all this relationship has been like right now at this point in time. If I was supposed to tell Lily, "Hey, let us move to Kenya," without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, she will never ever do it. And I think that's always been the coffin breaker for me because she thinks she's embraced me or my blackness, but actually she's never embraced it. And this is through dating, without kids, and even now with kids. I can pick up and go and move to Korea and be at a comfort zone and work there and be, but she will never, absolutely ever move to Wakanda with me, even for a year, for tryout. It's just something she'll never do. For her, it's a place she can just go visit. And that's just hard for me. I'm not a freaking tourist. Like every time I go home, like I go to Korea, I find it out for myself. I embrace them. But if she goes to Kenya and she's a tourist, I want to be a tour guide. I'm home. I need her to embrace that. And I've always wanted that. And I've always waited for that. And I've just never had it. So yeah, I had to close it on that. And I want to say it's real. We're getting a divorce. We are really deep down under. It's really bad. And today's Father's Day. And I hope next Father's Day it will be different. And I hope we will get our floaters once we hit the rock bottom of this sea. I'm not going to finish that. We'll get our floaters and we'll pop back out. And whichever way we pop back out, you know, life's got to go on. If I'm in Africa, my thatched house, my kids will still always have a home. If they're in Korea, if they stay here, I don't know. I don't know any of that. I don't have answers, but I know it's bad. So that's what's happening, and it's not a prank, folks. And happy Father's Day, and girls, hopefully. I don't believe in prayers, I don't believe in God, but hey, if your prayers can work, this is the time. Adios.